says, peace and love, family. R.I.P. to Kevin Samuels. Yes, I don't want to hear y'all talk about shit other than the Black Star album. Legendary shit. For real, man. I've been listening to that Black Star album all week. It's really messed up my ears in a good way. It's opened up those possibilities of what this hip hop shit can be and needs to be, and I love that. Those are the things that really made me fall in love with hip hop. Period. Like when you heard albums like Only Built for Cuban Links, I remember hearing Ice Cream or seeing Ice Cream on Rap City, being like, "Yo, I've never heard anything like this before." Hearing Shadow Boxing, I've never heard anything like this before.
Boundaries. That's why. Okay,
Yeah,
so can we go ahead and go into this right quick
go.
about what
Let's
I said?
go.
I got a big problem. Not a big problem, but a little bit of a problem with how people are reacting to this album and not understanding like the next level nature of it. And it's not because I say so. It's literally because you have to understand that like, and I don't understand why people don't understand this, because if you look back at it, it's just a fact. Most of your timeless pieces of work, they're pushing the boundaries and the aesthetic of this rap shit. They're not doing what's going on or
Or
what's
what they've done, or what you remember hearing from them.
right.
Yeah.
Like what I mean, just okay. So we always end up going back to this point. Let's go back production wise. I know often production wise, when we go back on like our old school Get Off My Lawn ish takes, we go to Illmatic. Let's go to the purple tape. Man, Glaciers of Ice, Ice Water, Verbal Intercourse, Ice Cream, like that's pushing the boundaries
Yeah.
of this rap shit. It's
Yeah.
like it is. And so that Black Star album is pushing the boundaries. And I think too many people, and this is the problem when you don't release an album for 24 years, too many people are like, well, Mos isn't aggressive like he used to. It's like, well, no, he's not. He's spiritual and thoughtful.
Well, you know,
And more concerned with and probably more of a musician now and more into the like harmony,
exactly.
more into the melody, more into the cadence, more making sure that you understand the message clearly. He's more about the message than the words now. That's part of what he's trying to convey with his pattern and the way that he's speaking. That's part of what makes it next level. He's thinking about it differently. Because you can hear on records that if he wants to just get up and start killing shit, he does.
Mm-hmm.
So be Youngsters, So Be It. Is it So Be It? Is that what it's called?
Uh-huh. And you know what? This is one of those albums where I don't even really know the names of the songs either. I'm just playing the songs. That's crazy. It's like some Wu-Tang shit.
Yeah, because it just happens. It's like, I don't know. It's like, you know, a classic rap album and something that makes... A classic rap album is kind of like falling in love for the first time all over again. It makes you question everything that like you felt about the stuff that happened before.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, no, for real. I went back and I was listening to Mos Def's catalog last night, I think it was. And so I'm listening to certain things on Black on Both Sides, like Know That with him and, you know, Talib trying to make a dollar out of what makes sense, added up to My Daddy I Be a Rich Man. Who never know when your fate gon' switch hands, get today's solid ground out of yesterday's quicksand, all that stuff, right? His inflections were different. And then I listened to The New Danger and, you know, Life is Real, killing the shit. But then I listened to this and I'm like, he's still killing this shit, but he's taking on a, like you said, a different approach. And I appreciate the approach. I actually like the approach because if he were to come like he did on those records, it would sound somewhat fake.
I don't know if
even... I don't even want to say fake, but it just doesn't fit with the sonics of what's going on here.
It doesn't fit with the stuff that he's in his life, because I want people to understand this is that, and Talib alluded to this, is that where Yasiin is spiritually, like kind of, you know, invokes me as an MC differently than when I'm approaching other projects. So when people are talking about Talib as the star of this album, well, what I'm telling you is that the thoughtfulness that Mos is bringing to the table, the conception that Mos is bringing to the table, the spirituality that Mos is bringing to the table is bringing out the best in his partner. That's part of what is beautiful about this album. That's part of what's next level about it. When have we talked about a duo doing that for each other, where it's like, well, no, well, him doing that brings out the best in what that guy does, and the producer is hearing both of that and doing both of what they do well and allowing them to shine.
Well, what do you say to people?
One other guy rap, and they're gonna have one other guy rap, and it's gonna be Black Thought on a Black Star album. And also this too, they stuck to who they are in the theme. This album feels very black, very Pan-African, very indigenous, very thoughtful, very black driven. It's their name's Black Star.
Yeah. It's some rock star shit, man, as far as I'm concerned. And the way that Mos approached it. And Talib too. Like Talib he sounds somewhat different. And I know somebody pointed out in the comment section that Talib and Madlib did a album together. But this right here just sounds different.
It's different.
Yeah.
That's Mos's influence on it. That's what I mean. Like, in a lot of ways, it's like Mos is the captain of the ship in a lot of ways, but Madlib and Talib understand Mos so well that it's just like the synergy of it just comes together. It plays well. It does.
I'm hearing people talking about the mixes.
It's like, oh, it's over? It's like, oh.
I'm hearing people talking about the mixes of the project. And you know what? I didn't really notice some of that until like I had it on a big speaker in like a wide open space, the echoes or whatnot. And yeah, the mixing could be a little bit better. But again, when you're trying to get a raw feel going on, I would think that these guys did this somewhat purposely, via, i.e. a Donda or something like that. Like if you're going for that industrial feel or something or next level feel, I could see it not being super polished.
Okay. So let's address this because that's actually, you want to know it when I was riding around. That was one of the comments that I had. We're going to address this engineering thing when we get to Jack Harlow's album because here's what I was trying to say.
And Talib made a post with him and his engineer and Dave Chappelle too, by the way. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I thought that was interesting you said that. I'll find the engineer's name while you're talking.
But it's just a little bit different when guys like Mos, who is an introvert and recluse, Madlib, ditto, and Talib, who is media-wise controversial and aggressive at times. And so when those guys move in that manner and give you something that has what I just call it that Enter the Wu-Tang feeling where it's like, well, you can tell they recorded it in the basement and you really don't give a shit because it's so dope. And you can tell that they recorded in the basement and you still don't care. Like when you're trying to give off that vibe intentionally, well, it's just easier when guys like Mos and Madlib and Talib do it as opposed to somebody spending like 10 grand a day to stay in an entire stadium and literally call half of the rap industry. And it's like, well, if you're spending money to do all those other things, you might as well spend big industry money to have it cleaned and engineered that way. Because here's the reality of the matter. You're spending money on every damn thing else.
Reggie Noble says the Donda slander needs to stop. I'm not slandering Donda. I like Donda. Yeah. Coop doesn't like Donda.
It's slavery. It's slavery.
I loved it.
Why would you do that to the engineer?
And Jarrell Green with Super Chat says, Talib said on an interview with Hit Boy that Nas was supposed to be featured on the Black Star album, but instead they used the verse he gave them on The Curse. The Cure, excuse me, not The Curse. What am I talking about? The verse that they gave him on The Cure. Clayton is asleep with the super chat says the drums are all over. Hold up. Said the drums are all over on that, but the album, the drums all over the album are great. The open hi-hats make it stand out more than others this year. I'm curious about the future of this album. I wonder if it will ever release on regular streaming platforms or on vinyl, etc. I hope they do a vinyl. I would get that vinyl. I'm going to say that right here and right now. I would go purchase that vinyl. I got Daytona in vinyl over here. I would get that vinyl. I need to go get Pray for Paris, too.
I mean, I just think it's funny because people are literally, I want you to understand that people are literally telling me that the reason that this project isn't classic is Mos.
I think their ears aren't ready, man. because
That's what
it
I mean
seems
about
like
it
the
being next level.
people who
Like,
get it
no,
get it.
you you want Mos to be like the b-boy, like with the backpack. It's like, no, dude, like he been no, that was over. That been over.
And
Like, and
you know what? You said something.
if you thought that putting Black Star on the front of it and putting him next to Talib was just about to like reinvigorate that, like magically, it's like that's not how life goes.
Well, you know what? You said something earlier about that and being put in a box. I don't think there's anybody in hip hop that's been put in more of a box than people who were quote unquote backpack rappers. Like backpack rappers are like the gospel singers of hip hop. If you do anything outside of any of that, oh man, I ain't rocking with that. You know what I'm saying? Backpack rappers can't do anything experimental. They got to keep the boom bap going, and they didn't do that here.
People
And
keep
like
talking
you
about
said,
his
some people ain't
energy.
feeling it.
People keep talking about his energy. I'm like, what energy? I'm like, fam's like 40 something, just like Nas and like Jay. Jay don't have no. Like, what's Jay's energy like on 444? What's Nas's energy like on Life Is Good? Like outside of like the Dawn and like a couple. You get what I'm saying?
The energy's in the words.
And the energy is in the conception of the album too,
Yeah.
Mike. The energy is in the flow. The energy is in the sound. The energy is in the movement.
If you pray, don't worry. If you worry, don't pray. That's where the energy is. You gotta listen to the words, man.
The devil run from me every time he smell me coming.
You know what? I'm nominating Mos Def for MC of the Year.
No. I'm not going that far.
No, he's in the running. Can he not get a nomination? I ain't saying he is.
No,
But
I mean,
I got Ransom at the top right now, right?
Ransom would have to be in there. Talib would have to be in there. Cole would have to be in there. I mean, we might as well
Ransom,
go
Cole,
and spill the
Talib. You don't want to put Most in there? The pen work is crazy in there.
Method Man would have to be in there.
Method Man's in there.
Method Man's in there. That's not a question. Method Man actually might be the front runner in this one. We're going to talk about that.
Oh, do we want to go? All right, yeah. Let's go to
No,
Czarface first, and then we're going to go to this Method Man discussion because you want to talk a lot about Meth. And you know what? I was really impressed.
We'll talk about Deck too.
Yeah. We're going to talk about Deck. We're going to talk about